Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. I am Melanie and today I want to welcome any newcomers to the channel. I hope you enjoyed today's video and you come back and craft with me often. I am going to get a little retro today with the small die of the month from Spellbinders May 2025. I just saw this comfy chair and I just wanted to go bold. And I just thought this was adorable. It's got a hanging light. It's got the little hanger here. We've got some fringe going on. We've got an adorable cat that looks like she might be up to some mischief. We've got a multi-layer plant here with a planter. Then we've got some layered books. And this is a second book. So this makes two different books here. And this makes a third book here. We have the legs to the chair, and the chair and the lamp are both stitchable. You can choose not to stitch them. You can either leave the holes in for decoration, or you can take the holes out completely and make it a solid lamp and chair. Totally up to you. So today we're not going to stitch the lamp. We're just going to stitch the chair in our project because I chose to make the lamp out of glitter paper. And a lot of times you just can't see the holes anyways and the lines and everything on the glitter paper. So we decided to just have it glittery. So I'm going to set this aside and we are going to use one of the stencils from the stencil of the month this month. And we're going to put this down here. And I just realized something. I actually am not going to do this on white. We're going to go bold. And I have another piece of paper here. And we're going to go and make this a really moody background. So let's not do the original. So let's just get groovy and be bold and make a beautiful scene here on this. Okay, I'm going to press that down into my 9x13 sticky mat from Altenew. We'll press that down really good so it doesn't move around on us. And then I've got Galactic Stream here, which is also a bold color. And it is darker than our background. Even darker. So we're going to ink this up really, really well. Make sure you're straight there. And then we are just going to put this onto the paper and we're going to deepen these sections of this. And with these large blender brushes, it makes this really easy to coat the paper and to go over and just make a really nice solid coverage. I'm just going to do that real quick, making sure the paper really absorbs this ink. Since they're similar colors, I want to make sure we can tell a difference. This is going to be massive. Very dark, dark room. But I wanted it to be drastic. I wanted it to be something different. And I'm hoping for a retro look. Something I don't do very often, but I like to be different sometimes. So let's see what we've got. Okay, so there we go. We are dark and that is going to be our background. So I'm going to set that aside and let it lighten up a little bit. And then we'll move this out of the way and I'll get our stitching out. Okay, all of the papers that I'm using today are from Your Paper Insider. I have used a bunch of their specialty papers. The only piece is this little tiny oval here, which is the carpet for our floor. This is from Prima, just an old package of Prima that I had. This is the actual package right here. I'm not sure it's still available. I will look, and if it is available, I will link it down below. Everything that I'm using today, the club kits, and the Your Paper Insider, everything will be down below, linked for you for your convenience. So what I've done here is I've used one of their specialty papers that have these lines, and it's kind of a fabric piece of paper. It's really thin, and I've die cut it and used a tape runner to attach it to another piece of purple paper. And I've started the stitching here using a piece of double-sided adhesive to hold down my stitching, and then I just did the straight stitches along the bottom. So I had that taken care of before we started. So now we're going to do these straight stitches here. And this is a very easy pattern to try out if you're new to stitching. And you just follow the lines that are put down for you by the die. So you can come in here and just simply go through the die itself. And now I'm going through two pieces of paper because I am going through this real thin piece as well. But I thought it would be kind of cool to have a soft textile kind of feel to our actual chair. So I'm just going to go through here and do these little lines back and forth along our chair, and we can just stitch these together. So if you've gotten this and you're not into stitching, if you've gotten the deluxe caboodle, why don't you get it out and get yourself some thread. You can go to Hobby Lobby or Michael's that's close to you and get yourself a skein of thread and a needle. It probably cost you about $2, and come and try this out. It's stitching super easy because the holes are already die cut for you. And whoops, my thread just came out. I'm actually using a specialty thread here. You probably wouldn't want to do that for a first timer if you're doing this for the first time. I had this and I hadn't used it, and it was kind of the royal color that I wanted to have for this retro chair. So I went ahead and decided to use it, and I normally do not stitch with all of these strands. So if you're starting out with your first skein of DMC thread, what I would advise you to do is to use 2 strands. So you're going to divide your skein into 2 separate skeins. There's 6 strands per skein, and you're going to divide it into 3 sets of 2, and then you will just use 2 of those strands in your needle. Let's go here first. See, there's no right or wrong. You can go any direction you want to, as long as you're not coming up the hole that you just went down in. You are good to go. You can go in whatever order you want. There's no instruction in, there's no chart. There's no, that's why this is the easiest stitching you could do. I mean, you can actually watch a movie while you're doing this, because you don't have to sit and look at a chart. You don't have to have super good eyesight. You can just do this casually and just relax. You could sit at the lake, listening to nature and stitch away. I mean, it's really a nice relaxing pastime, and it gives some really nice texture to your card in just a few minutes. This is really going to make it look like this has cushioning to it. And I especially like utilizing the fabric of this specialty paper. It just gives it something different about my card than, say, someone else's. It just makes mine a little bit different. You could also come here and stitch around here as well. There's no lines there, but you could stitch there too if you wanted to. I just love spring. I'm listening to the birds just chirp away outside. I doubt you guys can hear it, but the birds are just in full force right outside my craft room window. We have these really large trees, like kind of those divider kind of trees between 2 properties. and they're right outside my window, and it's just the most soothing sounds just hearing them talk back and forth. I'm pretty sure we have some babies, and they're just chirping away from mommy, and it's just so lovely to just sit here and relax with you guys and stitch and listen to the birdies singing. Just love it. You just gotta love spring, you know? Makes you just want to go grab some flower dies and start die cutting with some flower dies. Making a mess of the back, but you know what? It doesn't matter because we're gonna have it all glued up within your paper. Doesn't matter. This isn't, you know, a piece that's gonna be framed or anything like that. It's gonna be glued within paper and on a card. Now remember, I have quite a few strands here, and that's why it's getting a little hard to pull through. That's not going to be your case, so just realize that. I'm getting to the end of my strand also. Okay, where's my, okay, it's down here. So we go to the shortest possible distance. Probably right here. We'll go in this one. There's a strand there that's not laying smooth. I'm just straightening it out. Looks good. Then we'll come up. Oh, I got one down there too. Oh, shoot. Let's see if we can make magic happen. I don't know if we're going to make it. Okay, we got that one. Nope, I think we need a new strand because I left some out down there at the bottom. Because we actually have 3 more down there at the bottom. Okay, I missed a few, so we're gonna tie this off, and I'm gonna just tuck this under a whole bunch of stitches. See that? And pull it all the way through. Like so. This is good because you get to see this part too. And then we're going to cut that off. Look at that. That's all that was left. Then we'll get another piece. I'll thread this. Whew, that was lucky. And then let's see. I've got one here. I've got one there and 3 there. See what happens when I talk? That's okay. We're all friends here. And we're all crafting life together. So I do not mind missing a few stitches, you know? I'd rather go back and find my stitches and put them in there than to not finish the project correctly. So we will just go right in here and do this one. I'm not going to pull too hard because that's just tucked in there to hold it. So that's one. Then I'm going to pop over here, and you can, if you're worried about this, run this through just for extra good measure. It really doesn't matter because, like I said, we're going to put glue all over these stitches. And we can do this one. Look how cool this is looking. I just love this. That just tugged a little bit because I pulled it. Okay. Then we're going to come up here. And do this one. And this one. And this one. And I believe we just have the one left. Then we'll look at it. Look at there. Isn't that adorable? Now look at it on our bold background. See why I went a little lighter with the purple instead of the bright that I was planning on going? This is why. Because originally I wanted it to be the royal purple. And I didn't want it to be too dark. So instead I went this route and I went with the darker stitching and the lighter purple. So let's go ahead and tie this off. Now we do have enough there to go all the way around probably, but I don't think I'm going to. And I'm also going to put a little bit more of my tape runner under these edges because I'm noticing they're folding up a little bit. So I'm going to fix that so those don't rip off. But we're going to go ahead and just tuck this under here a couple times just to secure it. Just tuck it under, tuck it under. Okay, then we will cut off. Okay, so now there's one stitch here that is driving me nuts. So what I'm going to do, look at this stitch right here. You see, this was that first stitch that we did when we tied back on. Let's see if I can get that to, see that? So what I'm going to do, let me show you a little trick. It's just not as tight as I want it. So I'm going to take a little bit of craft tape, and you could use the other one I was using too. This was just the first thing I grabbed. So you could take a little bit of craft tape, find that stitch, and what it is see, it's tucked under right here. So pull these tighter. And once you get it pulled tight, see that right there? See, it's pulled tight. Then come in here and tape it like so. That. And now you have your tight stitch. Now let me grab my tape gun here and add a little extra sticky there. Okay. And a little extra sticky. Did it get on there? There. Because those were popping up. Don't want that. Don't want our fluff coming off. Okay. That looks a little better. Okay. This one, just the corner. Okay, there we go. So now what we're going to do is we're going to glue this down. So we're going to use ample amounts of glue here, okay? Because this has got to really hold onto our back piece. And sometimes I don't even use a back piece, so I'm going to today because this is a lot to hold in here. But I do use a lot of glue because this is a lot we're hiding in here. Just do a little bit around the edges there too. So they've got to stay down. Okay. I'm going to put this down on here. And then you want to meld those two together. Alright, I'm going to get a block or something to put over that. Just use our Spellbinders magnet there. Okay, so now let's build these other pieces. So we have our kitty cat, the legs to the actual chair. We're going to have our lamp. We're going to have some books. And we have our little plant. So why don't we do the plant? It has this little rectangle area here that you're going to just glue the pot right on, like so. And I'm going to move mine up just a little bit, just in case I need, where I'm putting it, I might need it to be a little shorter. So I'm just going to move it up just a little bit to make mine a little shorter. Then we will put the books. The books are layered, so we're just going to put the books together. This one here is one of the dies. It makes these 2 layers. So you're going to just add the 2 layers together, like so. And then the other 2 dies do this and this. So those layer on top of each other. And I've went ahead, I'm sure you've realized it already, but I've went ahead and I chose colors that are cohesive with other parts of the card front. So I've used a little of the yellow that's up here. I've used purple from the chair. I've used the greens from the plant. I've used teal from the carpet. Just different things so that items are used more than once in the color scheme. And it just kind of ties your whole card together when you somehow use that same color scheme throughout. There's a little, yeah, a little bit there stuck. Okay, I'm going to just glue this book together. I know this is a wild and crazy color scheme. Oh, well, let's wait for her tail until we put her all together. Now here is the other stitching die. See, it was a stitching die. And I just left all that in there since it was glitter. And we're just going to put this, well, I shouldn't have put glue everywhere. But we're going to put this here and give her her tassels. Like so. And I will turn her over since I put all that glue on her. And press down. Okay, we'll just let her sit there for a second. And then let's see how our couch is doing. Just get the outside edges. All right, so let's bring our background over and see. Let's put our feet on our couch. And we will build our scene. Now, I think you could use those as legs and put on a coffee table too. If you wanted a coffee table instead, you put the plant and the books on a coffee table. That would be kind of cute. I'm just going to stack the books, I think. Am I going to stack the books in the chair? I want the lamp over here. So that glue might still be wet. Let's see. I thought I would put the lamp over here. Look how pretty that glitter is. Oh my goodness. I'm liking that glitter. So let's just put that there for a second. Oh, these colors are so cool. They're so funky. And then this is the little topper for the light. So I'm going to put that there, and I don't want it to squeeze out. So I'm going to just kind of touch that right there. And we will put this on right here. And let it just run off the page. When I was a little girl, I had a light like this. It had all different colors. I'm totally retro probably. But it had all these different colors. It was like red and blue and And it had some sort of something, but it was shaped like this, and it hung from a chain. And it was always over my bed growing up. Okay, so we've got our chair. Let's look at our rug here. I think I want the rug under the chair. I think we'll put the chair on the rug. And I just wanted some sort of pattern in here somewhere. I wish we had a pillow, is what I wish we had. I was thinking of putting this stack of books down here, but they also show you can do it in the chair. Here's the sentiment I'm using. So let's put the sentiment up here. Coffee, books, and you. And then the kitty, we could put the kitty. Oh, we could put a book in the chair and have the kitty in the book. Do we want the kitty's tail down? We could put the plant down here. The plant may be right there. We put a couple books in the chair. I think those need to go backwards. This bright one needs to, I don't want it super close to that, so put the bright one in the middle. But then the kitty would be up. See, that's covering all our stitches. I don't want to do that. And if we put it up here, it would be too high for the sentiment. The sentiment would have to come over here. I mean, we could put the cat up there. They do like high places. Let me put the tail on the cat. See, again, we have a glue spot for that. But you could put the tail, I mean, you could put the tail this way. You could put the tail up this way. I'm going to have it hanging down. And I'm thinking of putting it up here. Like that. I'm not sure I want the carpet. Move this down a little bit then. I know it doesn't ground anything if I do that, but I'm kind of not feeling the carpet. It matches, but it's just, I don't know. I'm not. It's just everything else is so like the dark groove, you know, the groovy look, and that's just more vintage, not groovy. So I think, but do I want this here or up here? Let's glue everything and then we will see where we want the sentiment when we're done. I do like the books in the chair though. So let's go ahead and put the chair down. And I think it's important that the cat's on top because the cat itself, a cat loves high places. You know, if we had a bookcase or something, we would totally put the cat up on top of the bookcase. So we will sit this right here. Okay, instead of using the carpet, I just went into my scrap bin and I cut this little strip of gray. So what I'm thinking is we'll put this here. And we'll just glue this here along the bottom. This is just going to act as a grounder for our chair and plant. Our floor, so to speak. Let me do it the other way. That way there's just a little bit of differential from the ground where it's sitting. It's not just floating in midair. I think that will be better. And then I'll put a little glue here because these had not glued all the way down, which is what made me be able to do it like that. Now the chair looks like it's sitting on something and not just floating on the wall. Perspective, you know? Perspective. Got a little extra glue there. Okay, so now I can put the plant, you know, right next to it, and it's looking like it's sitting on the floor next to him. So we'll just do that. We'll kind of put its branch behind there a little bit. All right. Now I didn't glue that part down. That way it's got a little movement there. All right, now we can go ahead and put our books. So I'm going to go ahead and put the large book on the bottom. The yellow on the on the middle. And the green on top. I'm going to alternate the direction of the green one. Oops. Because that stitching cord under there might need a little extra glue there, and we'll put our magnet on it again. Okay, and then our cat will come and sit up here. And I think I'll get some foam for that. Put some foam on our cat. Let's see. Got my foam box. Just gotta find some foam. How about we use some black foam? Since this is a darker background. And we'll put some of it on the back of this little guy. I just love designing these little cards with you guys. So much fun. And I really feel like I'm doing it with you. And that is what I'm all about. I want to craft with you. And I want to thank you for being here, part of the journey. So if you're watching me this far, I want you to type down in the description below, craft life together. That'll let me know that you're still with me to the end of the card and not, you know, leaving early. Because watching these videos to the end helps the channel. It helps me grow, because YouTube actually allows more people to see the video when more people watch to the end, because they know people are interested. Look at that. Look at that. Look. She looks so pronounced, like royalty. We need a little crown for her. Oh, where's her, what is it called? Her collar on her. She's got to have her collar and her jewel. Okay. I'm going to put her collar on here, because I'm making her royalty. You know, we got to have royalty, right? Got to have royalty. And then I've got the perfect jewel for her. I've already got it picked out. Oh, my mom would love this card. She would love this card. Oh my goodness. You guys. Oh my goodness. Okay. For her jewel, check this out. These are, I'm going to just put a couple here because I need to find the right size. Do I have the smallest one there? No. These are Pink Fresh Studios Stargazer rhinestones. And they've got a tealish blue background, or like iridescent to them. I don't know. I doubt you can see that in the actual video. It's probably going to look black. But they are the color of the background. When they're in the light, I think I'm going to need this little one. Come on. Okay. So we're going to need a little dot. Pow. And we're going to need him to go right there. I had thought about putting them all along here too, but I was scared they'll show up in the picture as black, and I didn't want black all in there. I mean, because we could have put them in here too, put little crystals in each of those, but I didn't want to do that. Now for this, I'm not sure. I kind of want this to breathe over here, so I think I'm going to put it at the top. I don't want my stitches covered up. You know, this will cover the stitches and make it busy. So I think I'm going to put it up here. I hope y'all agree with me on that. Coffee, books, and you. What could be better, right? Except I'm not a coffee drinker. But I think that is a perfect sentiment for this. That sentiment is from last year's collection. Let me just trim this stuff off. And this was from when I was using the tape back here. It's just from what I was doing earlier. It won't matter when I put it on the card base. But that's why it's sticking. Cut this little piece right here. So all that will be left is putting it on a card base. What do you guys think? Look at there. Your Paper Insider knocked it out of the ballpark. Didn't their stuff just make it look cool? All these, the glimmer and all of these are even specialty papers in here. This green is a shimmer, but it's not. It's kind of like this one. This one here has a kind of a pearly to it, and then this one is this is the glimmer mirror. It's like a mirror card. There's no glimmer on it. I mean glitter. There's no glitter on this. It's actually smooth card, but it's got glitter in it. Whereas this is like glitter. So I used, see how smooth this is? But I used some of the pearl card. I used the glitter card, smooth and chunky. And I mean, use their fabric card. This is their card too. It's kind of a silverish color. I had so much fun with this, guys. Thank you for coming by today, and I hope you have had fun with the stitching die of the month. And stencil, of course. Stencil and stitch. I've done videos with stencil and stitch before, so this one was my favorite this month. So I hope you've enjoyed, and like I said, it's the 6th, and the clubs are open for all members today. So I hope if you are a new club member, you give it a try. Maybe this is the club to try. Who knows? But if you have any questions, always leave me a comment below. I'm always here to help answer your questions. See you in the next video. Bye-bye, my friends.